He 32M, watching my 32F dog for me. I went away for 7 days on a family trip out of state, and the guy I've been seeing for a year is watching my dog. Our dogs get along great, and we go on walks with them frequently. While he was watching my dog, he joked that I'm not paying him. Paying him for a big project that I would pay someone else for has come up on the past for other things. Out of being annoyed, I paid what he asked. He said he Googled what it would be, and did a bit less, but asked for $350. I also dropped off 3 new toys for the dogs and 2 large bags of treats when I dropped off my dog along with his regular food, so there aren't any expenses he's paying. Would this be considered a fair price? Why do you have to pay when he is your partner? It's tacky at best, in my opinion. I can't imagine my boyfriend asking to be paid for helping me. But I guess he's just the guy you've been seeing for a year. Wow, he should be the guy you were seeing. It seems like a very odd thing for a romantic partner to expect to be paid for something like this. My experience is more that with close friends or romantic partners that we do things like watch each other's pets without money being exchanged, or some token gesture like dinner would be offered in thanks. Personally, I like to not have strict accounting procedures in place in a relationship where every transaction has to be figured out and paid for. I'd feel very resentful about being surprised with a $350 bill like this, and I don't think a relationship like that would survive long term. At the least, I'd never ask for anything again and would rely on friends instead, and that's not a good basis for a relationship where you're supposed to help each other out. He asked for money after agreeing to do it. He's a loser who's nickel and diming you, and he's not a good bet for a long-term relationship. Edit spelling. A fair price would be 0. I would never ask or accept any money to watch my girlfriend's dog. Heck, I watch my neighbor's dog for free, just because it's the right thing to do. My boyfriend, 23 male, asks too much of me, 22 female, in the bedroom. We've been together for about a year. When we first became intimate, he took the lead, and that matched my preferences well, because I generally like him being more active during sex. Not long after, our dynamic changed, and now every single time we have sex, I'm the one on top for the entire 2 to 4 hour duration. We don't switch at any point, and it has stayed like this for basically our whole relationship. I've been very clear that this position is uncomfortable and physically exhausting for me, especially because our sessions are so long. I recently returned to work after months off for a repeatedly dislocating knee, and I'm back to a job that's extremely physical. By the time I come home, there's already strain on that knee. Staying on top for hours on end just hurts. I've tried talking to him multiple times about switching positions or simply not expecting me to stay on top for the entire time, but he gets grumpy or argumentative about it. He'll say he works harder than me, so he prefers when I'm the one exerting more physical effort. I disagree. My job is physically intense, especially during winter tire season. I'm dealing with lifted trucks, oversized tires, and long hours on my feet, not to mention my injured knee. The bigger emotional issue for me is that it feels like he's disregarding my physical pain and comfort. I've asked for balance, or even occasional changes, but in almost a full year I've only been on the bottom maybe 3 times, and that only happened after I really pushed for it. I have a high sex drive, and I genuinely enjoy intimacy, but being on top for 3 to 4 hours straight every time is turning sex into something I dread, because I associate it with discomfort, strain, and him pushing for something I've repeatedly said doesn't work for me. It also disrupts my sleep schedule. I don't want to break up. We're compatible in most areas, and I care about him a lot, but this situation has become a long-term problem that affects both my physical comfort and my mood. How do I address this in a way that actually leads to change, instead of arguments or him dismissing my limits? I need advice on how to set boundaries when one partner expects a single sexual role from the other, especially when it causes pain. 2 4-hour duration. WTF. Literally get off of him, maybe. Good grief. Sex lasting 2 4 hours each time sounds absolutely fucking miserable. 2 to 4 hours? Yeah, I don't even believe this, lol. 4 hours is 1/6 of the entire day. What you allow is what will continue. He knows. He doesn't care. Read that. My 32M, ex wants to be present when I, 27F, give birth to our son. I'm not sure what I should do. My ex, 32M, wants to be in the room when I give birth in about a month, but I, 27F, don't want him there. We've had a rocky relationship since a couple weeks before I found out I was pregnant, which really sucks because we really loved each other, and talked about having a kid numerous times. He's been going through his own stuff, as he has 2 other kids, and I also have a kid of my own. But I keep trying to explain and get him to understand that we have something huge going on. I'm carrying his child, and he's pushing me to the side. Anyways, over the past 7-8 months, he has not been present in my pregnancy. I have been completely alone through threatened miscarriages, depression, appointments, baby celebrations, and even prepping for our child. Not just alone in the sense of feeling like I'm doing this by myself, but him literally not being around. He's basically completely abandoned me throughout this whole pregnancy. I've begged all these months for him to show me some change and be there for me and this baby. He keeps saying eventually things will change, that he will make it all up to me, that he's so in love with me and wants to be with me, but still won't show up for me, won't spend time with me, won't do anything for me. I honestly don't understand why he won't do it now, and I've basically completely given up. I've cried myself to sleep basically every night, cry at work, cry while doing pretty much anything, because this is far from what I envisioned for us. I recently found out that my baby is not growing, and it's most likely due to the amount of stress I've been under. I'm going to have to deliver early, and I've come to the decision that I don't want him there. I've been alone this whole time, he hasn't shown up to a single thing, so why would I allow him to be there when I'm going to be so vulnerable? He says I'm wrong, and is making it seem like I'm the unreasonable one. I just don't know what to do at this point. I love him so much, but I don't want to let him treat me like this anymore. Update. After a follow-up with my doctor, I've determined it's best for my baby's health to completely cut him off for the remainder of my pregnancy and until after the baby and I have recovered. Thank you everyone for the advice, and I will be making a thorough birth plan in case something goes wrong. You've made your decision, and I think it's a wise one. The only thing he can do by being there is disappoint you. You have every right to exclude him, and the nurses will take care of it. Do yourself a favor and block him out of your life entirely until after the baby is born. If he wanted to, he would. Birth is not a spectator sport, regardless of who donated their sperm. Problem solved in the first sentence. And I don't want him there. Boom. Discussion over. Don't tell him when you go into labor. Wait until baby is born. You don't need the extra stress. If he isn't showing up for you on the daily, he doesn't need to be at the birth. He can visit after like everyone else. Don't let this man traumatize you more. He can say what he wants about this. It doesn't make it any less your decision. If he wanted to be at the birth, he could have just done one of the million things you have begged him to do and show you that he can be a good partner and dad. You are the patient during the birth. Only you get a say. Wife's F48, weight tripled over time. I am 40, have a hard time staying attracted. I am 40, have been with my wife, 48F, for 16 years. In the last 6, since we've gotten married, my wife has been gaining a lot of weight and her health is rapidly declining. In the last 2 years, she's gained upwards of 100 pounds. When I bring up figuring out how to get a handle on our health, she either gets angry, laughs / makes fun, or flat out tells me that she isn't interested in that. I'm not sure if it's related to her weight, but she has started to smell bad and have horrendous breath. To the point I can smell it from several feet away when we are out on the town. When I bring the odor up or recommend / offer breath mints etc., she gets very angry and defensive. She tells me that I'm too sensitive to scents because I notice and comment when people have poor hygiene. She says that people are supposed to smell. Each person has a unique scent, and that doesn't need to be masked with perfumes and deodorants. I don't need my wife to be a model. Lord knows I am not, BMI 26-ish and bald. But I have a hard time looking at her from certain angles and being around the stink she accumulates. We almost never have sex because it is very difficult to bring myself to participate. When we do, I pretend to have an orgasm because I really cannot get there between the smells and the morbid obesity. I once had to stop because I could no longer stomach it. She cried for hours and was extremely depressed for a couple of weeks. She kept getting mad and finding reasons why it was me and not anything she might be doing. I have suggested counseling, offered to join her, explained that I am worried about her health, bought her products for health and hygiene, offered to change my lifestyle to support her. I've even tried telling her I need her to make a change if our marriage is to work, but she hasn't budged on changing her habits. I love my wife. She is still my favorite person in the world, but I am quite simply repulsed by her physically. We haven't been intimate for 7 months now, and I can tell it's starting to make her very depressed. I feel selfish and like a failure as a husband, but I just dread the idea of faking interest and forcing myself to be intimate with her. Do you have any advice on how to help my wife make healthier choices? Is there a different way I should be thinking about this? Thanks for reading my novel. Any advice welcomed. I had the same with my ex-husband. He also had a heart attack and crippling back pain. He refused getting help with losing weight or revalidation after his heart attack at age 33. Both are free in my country. He is my ex. This is beyond pure physical attraction, which is still important. This is a serious health issue. Gaining 100 pounds within 2 years is incredibly unhealthy. You need a come to Jesus talk with her. At her age, this kind of weight gain can be a death sentence. Has she actually seen a doctor in these past 2 years? Probably a good idea given these rapid changes. I would schedule time with a therapist for you alone. I would also tell her what you are doing and why. Her behavior is not normal. Something is drastically wrong. Perhaps convince her to go for her yearly physical in January. The things you are describing could have a basis in something medical. Given your wife's sudden weight gain and odor, I'd be concerned there's serious medical issues occurring. I'd be encouraging a GP review that includes blood tests, urine screen, and comprehensive family history. You can't change someone who doesn't want to change. You are now both incompatible with each other. What you do next, you need to consider if you want to live like this for another 40 years.